who will do your taxes for you, you're free to do not taxes. Show your eyes things that are not taxes. Show your brain things that are not taxes. See if not taxes makes you laugh or cry. Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who will do them for you. Intuit TurboTax.
Tomorrow on ET, only we're sipping and spilling with Martha Stewart talking Snoop, Pete, and Brad.
I was looking at pictures of him on Instagram, and he looked so great.
Plus, the one question that had her sipping.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you want to sip or do you want to spill? Oh, my goodness.
Martha.
I think she was shooting her shot a little bit.
Happening now.
He's accused of fleeing the scene of a November crash. Now he appears to be trying to flee scrutiny. District 10 Councilman Clayton Perry returned to the San Antonio City Council today, but dodged reporters' questions, including ours, multiple times. What we were able to get out of him.
A cancer treatment, it's beginning its phase 1 research right here at the START Center for Cancer Care in San Antonio. Coming up, we'll talk about that research, how the drug works, its FDA approval, and we'll hear from a patient who says it's been effective so far.
And winds will calm tonight, which will lead to some cold temperatures by tomorrow morning. We'll have those details for you in a few. The news at 5 starts right now.
And we begin with the councilman. Councilman Clayton Perry is back, but he is not answering questions. The embattled District 10 councilman accused of having 14 drinks in 4 hours before crashing his Jeep head-on into another car and fleeing the scene in November. Well, now he appears to be trying to flee scrutiny. After taking a nearly 2-month leave of absence and still facing misdemeanor DWI and failure to stop and provide information charges, Perry returned to council today, where City Hall reporter Garrett Berger tried to get answers on why come back now.
I'm not, because
it started with a quick attempt to talk with the Northside councilman before Thursday morning's council meeting. But Perry brushed us off.
I was wondering, why did you decide to come back? I'll answer all those with my statement.
But that statement turned out to be only about a dozen sentences, most of it expressing thanks and vaguely stating he had followed the, quote, appropriate measures recommended by medical experts and would continue to do so.
I'm 100% devoted to ensuring this never happens again and to regain your confidence.
The closest Perry came to referencing the crash beside that was saying he was thankful that other people involved weren't physically harmed. But he never said exactly why he decided to return. We tried to get answers again during a break in the meeting.
Why did you decide to come back, sir? This is you're facing 2 misdemeanor charges. Do you think you're going to be able to govern with that?
And again during lunch.
Well, it's in my statement.
No, sir, it's not, though. Why did you decide to come back now? What's going to happen with that?
I'm not talking anything about that right now.
Do you really think that short statement was enough for your constituents?
Perry then skipped an afternoon briefing, his chief of staff telling us he had something personal to handle. The next council meeting will be a special closed-door session at the Emergency Operations Center on the 25th, the day after Perry's first scheduled court appearance.
Now, we also texted and called Perry, but he has not returned those in our further attempts to try to get you answers on why he is returning now. One of the few things we did get out of Perry today was about the upcoming May 6th election, when his District 10 seat will be on the ballot. Perry saying he has not made a decision yet on whether he will try for re-election. Live at City Hall, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Garrett. A record-breaking number of people heading to the Alamo Dome tomorrow as the Spurs take on the Golden State Warriors. The Spurs returning home to the Dome to celebrate their 50th year anniversary in the Alamo City. And it is going to be busy downtown. Our Camelia Juarez has some parking advice. All right, Camelia, how can fans plan ahead? What should we be thinking about tomorrow?
Steve, the best thing to do is to show up early downtown because the because the doors to the Alamo Dome open at 4:30 and tip-off is at 6:30. That means that Spurs fans are going to be competing with downtown rush hour traffic as well as road closures that are sprinkled throughout downtown. But there is free parking at 2 garages. From 3 to 6 for game day ticket holders, there will be 2 downtown garages open. That's the City Tower Garage on West Commerce and St. Mary's Parking Garage on East Travis. VIA is also offering park and ride services from the AT&T Center and Crossroads. The fare is $1.30 each way and rides begin at 2:30. Richard Oliver with the San Antonio Sports Facilities suggests fans come downtown early and enjoy the views before the game.
You're in San Antonio, Texas, which has one of the more beautiful downtowns on the planet, and a wonderful river walk and restaurants and attractions. Come on downtown, enjoy yourself, then get over to the game in comfortable shape. If you wait too late with the kind of crowd that we're expecting to see, you might find yourself in a complication of traffic and parking.
Now, we have more details about parking on our website, and coming up at 6, we'll tell you about what fans can expect as the Spurs return to the Alamo Dome. Reporting live, Camalia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Camille. Yeah, like what Richard Oliver said, make an afternoon and evening of it. All right, well, we're still working to learn the name of a man who the name of a man killed in a crash overnight. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, this happened after an encounter with a deputy. The Sheriff's Office says that man was pulled over by a deputy who believed the driver was under the influence. The man admitted he had Xanax in his car along with a gun. When asked to leave the vehicle, the driver refused and sped away. He ended up crashing near West Military and Marbach Road.
We did find a felony amount of drugs in the car and at least one handgun underneath the suspect. We did find various different calibers of ammunition.
The sheriff says the deputy did not chase after the man, but the deputy did find him after he'd crashed. We're told that man was thrown from his vehicle and died on impact after hitting a utility pole. The New Braunfels Police Department needs your help in finding a 16-year-old girl, Alyssa Lerma, who also goes by Alyssa Flores, left her home on Avery Park with her black dog on Friday morning, January 6th. The dog was found. Alyssa was not. She's without life-saving medication, may be in need of medical attention on top of all that. Alyssa was last seen wearing a black hoodie, black leggings, and black Crocs. Anyone with information can call the New Braunfels Police Department by dialing 911 or the number on your screen. Days after the White House turned over classified documents found at President Biden's former private office and home, we're learning about what comes next. As ABC's Elizabeth Schultze reports, a bigger investigation is about to begin.
In an extraordinary move, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointing a special counsel to oversee an investigation into 3 separate instances of classified documents found at President Biden's home and former office.
This appointment underscores for the public the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters.
Garland announcing former U.S. Attorney for the District of Maryland, Robert Hur, will oversee the probe. Hur worked with the Justice Department under former President Trump.
I am confident that Mr. Hur will carry out his responsibility in an even-handed and urgent manner.
Garland says Biden's lawyers discovered a second batch of classified documents in the garage of the president's home in Delaware. Then today, the president's lawyer contacted the Justice Department to report another classified document had been found elsewhere in Biden's Wilmington home. An initial set of 10 classified files was found in November at the president's former private office in Washington. Sources tell ABC News the documents date from Biden's time as vice president, some marked top secret.
People know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
Both President Biden and former President Trump are now subject to special counsel investigations over the potential mishandling of classified documents. But Trump repeatedly resisted turning over hundreds of classified files he allegedly brought to his Mar-a-Lago estate. Trump also refused to comply with a subpoena, prompting a court to issue a warrant for the FBI to seize them from his home.
The White House says it's confident that the special counsel's review will show that the documents were inadvertently misplaced and that the president and his lawyers acted promptly upon the discovery of this mistake. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Let's take a quick check of traffic right now. Let's go to I-35 and AT&T Parkway. They are cleaning up what was an accident here, but you can see traffic is still very slow, especially in what looks like it's the southbound lanes of 35. Loop 410 at Fredericksburg, a stalled car off to the side causing part of this backup, but no major traffic tie-ups to tell you about right now.
And really no issues weather-wise out on the roadways, which is good news. Earlier this morning, maybe for high-profile vehicles, it was a little hard to drive because we just had really gusty winds out of the north following that cold front that moved in overnight and very early this morning. Because of that cold front, though, temperatures a little bit closer to where we should be for this time of year this Thursday. 63 in Del Rio, 68 over at Eagle Pass, a little bit closer here to San Antonio, 61 in Bulverde, 64 in New Braunfels, stretching back over to Livonia as well. Really pleasant if you're stepping out for any evening plans. It will turn cool, though, especially after the sun goes down. Low humidity, temperatures falling into the 50s and eventually into the upper 40s later tonight. Because those winds are expected to calm overnight, combine that with the clear skies, it will be a chilly start tomorrow morning with temperatures in the 30s for a good portion of the area. Somewhat seasonable afternoon, though, in store over the next 48 hours. Sunday, we'll start to see those temperatures warm. Also, those breezy conditions return. And then into next week, warmer than average temperatures look to make its way into the forecast. We'll have all those details in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. It's a disease that has claimed way too many lives, but a new study is showing a promising path forward. The American Cancer Society is reporting that cancer death rates in the U.S. have actually dropped 33% over the last 30 years. They credit advances in treatment, early detection, a decrease in smoking, and vaccines like the HPV vaccine, which has reduced cancer cases and deaths overall. There's a new cancer research study actually being conducted right here in San Antonio. The hope is to help people battling different forms of cancer with just a pill. As Jonathan Cotto explains, researchers at the START Center for Cancer Care aim to have a treatment that is tolerable, manageable, and effective.
Over time, scientists have discovered several mutations and abnormalities in tumors which make them grow.
The challenge has been to find so-called targeted drugs to try and stop these mutations.
Dr. Papadopoulos is the principal investigator for the adagrasib study at START Center.
The study we have been involved with essentially was testing one of these drugs in patients with a mutation called KRAS, which is very common in a variety of tumors.
He says there has been very encouraging data that shows KSAT, the new drug, is also effective in treating colon cancer.
Participating and developing the drug to the stage where it could then move on and be available to a whole host of patients.
The trials have involved several hundred patients with different malignancies across several countries.
The advance has been to show that these drugs are effective in these patients with this variant of KRAS.
KRAS G12C is an oncogenic driver mutation in different types of cancers. Historically, researchers have not been able to find a way to stop the rapid cell growth. But this study drug has at least one patient hopeful.
So we started it and kind of talked through it, worked through it for the first 6 months, and then we were like, hey, it's working really good. So here we are a little over a year and a half, and it's still working.
Howard's journey with cancer began in 2020. He has metastatic colorectal cancer with the KRAS G12C mutation.
I'm happy to be a guinea pig for this so that other people won't have to go through the, tough trials and tribulations that I've done to get to this point.
Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
We are all aware that some food prices are going up, especially eggs. Well, now bakeries and restaurants feeling the pain as well. How some eateries in San Antonio are being affected by all this. Now to what can be a painful discussion, the price of groceries. First, the good news. New numbers show the price of bacon down from last month, so is flour. But eggs, they keep on soaring. As 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz shows us, it's especially tough for bakeries, and relief is still likely months away.
Inside Mimo's Bakery and Cafe, they crack a lot of eggs.
We use anywhere from 10 to 15 cases of eggs a week.
A lot of eggs. 2,700 eggs a week, give or take. Go into omelets, fresh breads, cookies, and those fancy custom cakes.
We don't have a choice. I mean, everything we do is from scratch with fresh ingredients.
Owner Amber Gonzalez says the price of eggs is cracking the budget.
They were like $20, $22 a case for the extra large, and now we're paying $97, $98 a case for the extra large eggs.
You're paying the higher cost too, so we did some price checking to find some of the lowest prices on eggs. For a dozen large grade A eggs, H-E-B's price was $4.48, 80 cents less than Walmart and Target. Egg prices have nearly doubled in the past year. One big reason is the bird flu. Nearly 60 million chickens have been lost.
We keep having more outbreaks. We're losing birds, and so that's cutting production. And feed costs are high.
Economists say you can expect prices to keep rising through spring with high Easter demand and come down later in the year. As for Amber, she's been eating the higher costs, but can't for much longer.
We've been trying to put it off raising prices because, I mean, who wants to pay $20 for an omelet? You know, I mean, it just seems ridiculous, but when you add all that egg cost in there, it's like, it's a lot.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, it was no mystery when that front came through last night. I mean, the winds kicked up. It's colder than it was, but it's still pretty nice for January, let's be honest.
It really is. Temperatures today have been closer to where we should be for this time of year, especially considering that the first week of January was warmer than average. But yes, one of the biggest things that we saw this morning after the passage of that cold front was those gusty north winds. In fact, we've seen peak wind gusts upwards of about 30 to even 35 miles per hour at times today. They're starting to come down just a little bit, but something else that those winds have done for us, once again, knock up the mountain cedar pollen count for today as well. So once again, if you've had some itchy eyes out there, maybe a few sniffles, likely due to the mountain cedar. Molds are moderate, so not as bad, but of course could be better. As we look into our Friday, it is likely that we still see those mountain cedar levels at least a little bit elevated once again, thanks to those winds still being out of the north. You can see that not as bad as where we were throughout the first half of the day in terms of those wind gusts, but still you'll notice a bit of a breeze if you are stepping out in and around the San Antonio area, especially points north. 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts clocked in over in Converse, 22 in Bulverde, 21 up near the Bernie Stage area. Something else that those gusty north winds are doing for us, besides pumping in some slightly cooler air, also pumping in drier air. So we do have red flag warnings that are still in place officially for counties in pink, running for another hour or so, then that officially expires. But still, because of the lack of rainfall that we really haven't had over the past several months, probably a good idea to just avoid outdoor burning throughout the remainder of the day. We will see those winds subside as we head into the evening hours and even more so overnight tonight. Other than that, in the high mountain cedar count, it has been a relatively nice day out there. Again, temperatures this afternoon closer to the seasonal average for early January. 63 is where we sit officially over at San Antonio International here this 5 p.m. hour. Overall, right now, temperatures are about 15 to even 20 degrees cooler than where we were this time yesterday. 62 in Bulverde, 63 in Canyon Lake, 64 in Converse. It's 66 over in Castroville, 57 over in the Los Maples area. As we see those winds continue to calm overnight tonight, combine that with the low humidity and clear skies in place, those temperatures will tumble. It is going to be a cold start to our Friday morning. So jackets definitely needed for the Friday morning commute. We'll wake up to the upper 30s, I think, here in Bexar County, around 38 officially here in San Antonio. We're close to a light freeze across portions of the hill country, 33 in Kerrville and 33 in Comfort is that forecast morning low tomorrow, 39 in Floresville and 37 over in Seguin and Guadalupe County. Once we do see the sun come up tomorrow, plenty of it is in store. combine that with the dry air, and temperatures are still going to climb. We're near about 57 by 11 a.m. We've got forecast highs in the mid 60s for our Friday afternoon, around 65 officially here in town. Still very close to where we should be for this time of year. It is going to be very pleasant as we get ready to wrap up the work week. Heading into Saturday, still low dew points. It will be comfortable but cold start as we wake up to temperatures in the 30s yet again, but a pleasant afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 60s. Sunday, we start to see those south winds take back over. More of that Gulf moisture returns, helping not just those morning lows warm up a touch, but also those daytime highs. We're in the 70s into the beginning of next week, near 80 by Tuesday, and then another front tries to arrive by Wednesday. Not a huge chance for rain, Steve, but we'll take anything that we can get. Maybe a few isolated showers.
Absolutely. Not a stretch to say we're desperate for rain right now.
Right.
Thank you, Mia. All right. He's always one of my favorite Spurs when he would come by the KSAT 12 studios. Super nice guy, always a character.
Avery Johnson is back home in the Dome.
Yeah.
In fact, we just ran into him. He's a little early for this big event. When we come back, he'll be part of this iconic moment in Spurs franchise history again. An arrest warrant issued for a member of the Dallas Cowboys coming up. The Little General, Avery Johnson, returning to San Antonio to be part of the historic moment tomorrow night for the Spurs' 50th anniversary game in the Alamo Dome. During the Spurs broadcast last night, the team revealed that Avery will be a part of the broadcast, also participate in pregame ceremonies for the 6:30 p.m. tip-off against the Golden State Warriors. Who could forget what Johnson has meant to this franchise, and in particular, the first championship in 1999, not the least of which was hitting the game-winning basket in Game 5 to seal the Spurs' 4-1 victory over the New York Knicks to secure their first ever NBA title. And then, when the team returned home, Avery stole the show in the massive celebration inside the Alamo Dome. Now he's back as one of the iconic figures in Spurs history. There he is.
What an incredible, historic venue, not only for the Spurs, but for all of the Spurs fans. So many incredible wins in this building. I was looking at a photo in the back of our parade and how we ended the parade here in front of 45,000 fans, and the celebration was incredible. And then tomorrow night we're going to have 65,000 plus fans, and I'm calling the game with my buddy Sean Elliott, my old teammate. I'm just on the cloud nine right now.
That is awesome. Our San Antonio Spurs come into this historic game with back-to-back losses in Memphis, ending the first half of their season Monday with a 121-113 defeat, and then last night 135-129 in a game that went down to the wire. The most recent loss marked the return of Keldon Johnson, who missed the last 2 games with tightness in his left hamstring that hit him during the 121-109 victory over the Pistons. Johnson would lead the Spurs at 24 points, but Ja Morant led the Grizzlies with 38, including the putback, to seal the win over the Spurs. Here's that matchup tomorrow night, 6:30 tip time. Get there early.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
An arrest warrant has been issued for the Cowboys rookie linebacker Sam Williams for his role in a car crash last month. The warrant issued by the Plano Police Department is for reckless driving, and according to TMZ, a Plano Police Department spokesman says there is no plan to find and arrest Williams, but the 23-year-old has been contacted to turn himself in, adding that he could be arrested if he was pulled over. Williams' Corvette suffered serious damage in the crash that occurred back on December the 22nd, where at the time he told reporters he was thankful to still be alive. It is unclear how this would affect his participation in Monday night's playoff game in Tampa. But back to the Spurs. How about that? Avery Johnson is already here, already kind of basking in the moment, and he was the star, really, of that celebration in the Alamo Dome in 1999.
Absolutely. I still remember. Did the Lakers win the championship?
There you go.
Did Utah win a championship? Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Greg. We'll be right back. By the way, I want to let you know we've got you covered at the Dome tomorrow. I'll be out there live. If you see me, say hi. If not, join us on KSAT. We'll see you at 6. World News is next.